Problem solved. So just returned to the ship, after I chose the left shuttle instead of the right shuttle. It was a really hard decision. Thanks be to the Emperor. You're alive, your lordship. I'm most gratified by your turn, and the crew is full of zeal to carry out any orders you have. Alright. What's happening with the sun? Lord Captain, we saw a number of ships approach the sun. Black creations of inhuman make, amalgams of sharp angles and edges. They surrounded the star, and then... My apologies, but I struggle to find words that could describe the terrible sight. The Xenos made the sun vanish into the void. Yeah, Dark Elder have the tech to do that. Surprising that they'd steal this star, though. Drukhari. Yeah, we know. As if we did not have enough troubles on our hands already. Really? Oh, it's a level 9 skill check to know that Xenos exist. Alright, cool. I'm gonna... I mean, they weren't spotted because they've got stealth. A breed of the Eldari, the most cruel and devious of their kind. The design of their ships matches the description provided by the Voxmaster. Like all Xenos, the Drukhari are a blight on the face of the galaxy, but their technological superiority is indisputable. They abhor and fear warp sorcery, which is why they rely on creations of their twisted intellect. And many of those creations are capable of things that seem akin to sorcery to the unenlightened eye. The theft of a sun is one example of what they are capable of. Why did they do this? We can rule out that possibility. The Drukhari would never ally themselves with the archenemy's worshippers. If I had to name one thing that humanity and the Xenos have in common, it'd be a shared loathing for warp corruption. Yeah. That, and you know, we're idiots. The situation calls for immediate action. Detective Mulligan. We can continue this conversation later if you so wish, but right now, he gestures at the deck, teeming with tumultuous activity. I believe you should assume command. Alright, ship status. The Navigator's Sanctum is no longer empty, but the warp engine is still refusing to obey the Engiseers. Without it, we cannot perform a warp jump. Pascal's voice buzzes anxiously from his box. It may be angry, or perhaps it is lamenting the injuries it has suffered. I will immediately initiate preparations for a prayer service. If the Omnissiah grants me comprehension, I will appease the machine spirit of this vessel. I mean, they probably did send a shuttle that got blown up. What's going on the planet? Our augur operations are reporting numerous uprisings and other manifestations of the Archenemy's power at various locations on the planet. Based on the fragments of communication picked up by our Vox operators, there is practically no resistance being offered by the Governor's forces. Millions of people are converting to the blasphemous Final Dawn cult en masse, and assembling in prayer circles. I fear that Rykard Minoris is lost. The situation is deteriorating by the minute. We must leave the system as soon as possible. However, there are still people on the planet who have not succumbed to heresy and who are worthy of rescue. Besides the small number of our own shuttles, we also have the shuttles salvaged from the starport. The dark eyes of the Sister of Battle flash. We must save as many as we can. This all happened for a reason. Saint Argenta, whose name I carry with reverence and trepidation, is famed for saving people of a dying world through the power of prayer. The God Emperor himself sent a star from the heavens that lifted the saint, and her followers up to the sky, away from the corruption and death. We must do as she did, direct all our efforts to saving those people who at this moment look to the heavens in the hope of salvation. The lives of peasants are of little value. Our prime objective is to save the Holy Relic, the miraculous fusion reactor, and the Electro priests who guard and tend to it. Every moment we spend in proximity to a dying world, we're putting ourselves at risk. Your life, Lord Captain, is far more valuable than all of Rykard Minoris. The Von Valencius dynasty cannot be allowed to perish, and so, lamentable as it is, we must rule out the idea of any evacuation. The world is doomed, and its inhabitants along with it. The disappearance of the star was the final nudge towards death. The finale of the Cult of Dawn's plans. I once witnessed a similar event, a world that had surrendered to the servants of the archenemy and permitted corruption to enter too deep. At this moment, millions of people are bowing down to those who promised them salvation, and they're willing to give over their souls to chaos. A sacrifice great enough would bring forth a demon world, which is when the whole world becomes kind of warp infested. A fusing of two dimensions. Our only hope of stopping that process is to retreat to a safe distance from the planet and conduct targeted bombings of the Electro Priest Monastery. If we blow up the reactor, a thermonuclear reaction will follow. The world's oxygen will evaporate, killing off the entire biosphere. In doing this, we will save millions of souls from a fate far worse than death. And we will save Rykard Minoris from becoming an outpost of the archenemy. Whatever fate you choose for this world, I urge you to make haste, Lord Captain. The planet is burning in raging flashes of crimson and purple. I can see it even from orbit. As do I see the storm is already upon us. With every moment that we waste, it grows more difficult and perilous to steer the ship through the warp's turbulent currents. I'm with the lady on this. Enough talking, we need to get out of here while we can. Well, I'm going to take Dogmatic, because I did want to blow up the planet. What do you think, Shah? Try and evacuate people, possibly corrupt our crew? Or blow the place up? I'll let you in on a secret. I'm gonna blow the place up. Boom, baby! Yes, Lord Captain. I will immediately inform the navigation and artillery decks of the impending maneuver. The right choice, Lord Captain. May the sacred exterminators cleanse this veil of corruption. World is lost. Burn that bitch. The bridge is in upheaval. The Technomat's prayers mix together in a senseless cacophony while servitors work hastily to remove a hardened crust of sacred unguents from the warp engine's components. That's disgusting. In the middle of this tumult stands Pascal with data slate clutched in his hands, seemingly disconnected from the flurry of activity around him. What's going on here? The warp sextant is not responding to commands. The ship's spirit is rejecting our prayers in anger. I'm currently calculating a plea that might appease the noble spirit. You blasted cog! I mean, be polite to the fucking Madros, I suspect. Thank you, your lordship. You are right. Pascal's voice changes when he addresses the queue. He now speaks with authority and resolved. Tech comrades, heed my instruction. The mayhem immediately subsides, and the crew's actions fall into some indiscernible logic. The Omnissiah servants start working in sync, and binary clamour becomes a symphony of reports, which the Madros coordinates like a skillful conductor. Do not ever act like a spineless greenhorn in front of me, ever again. Admirably done. I'll just leave it at that. Sorry, the thought of yelling at a tech priest responsible for my life just tickles me greatly. The Omnissiah guides me. The prayers of the tech priests surrounding the cogitator almost drown out the sounds of the bustling bridge behind you. Pascal, poring intently over the data slate in his hands, extends the mechadendrite towards you. Please take your place at the cogitator, Lord Captain. Okay. I bet we just have to press the on button. The huge machine in front of you is lit with dozens of vid screens and hundreds of lumens. The blinking lights and endless rush of symbols and digits on the green background makes your eyes water, and a vague sense of alarm simmers in the depths of your mind. The typical reaction of a layperson when confronted with the magnitude of the Omnissiah's creation. Among the numerous controls, you see the mouth of a cyber gargoyle, the same as at the gate in the warrant chamber. Pascal's voice becomes imbued with imperious force. Servants of the machine god, heed my command. Acolytes, prepare the incense instrumentation for the liturgy of machine spirit propitiation. Senior technomats, recite the prayer to generate a current data report. Operations will be marked with the campanological protocol. Omnissiah rejoice. I must inform you that for the purpose of safety, complete reassembly of the warp sextant and updating its data machine, datasmith blessings are required. If this is not done, then at launch the volume of aggregate calculation errors could result in the destruction of the data crypts. But we do not have 100 hours at our disposal. We must omit this procedure. A minor deviation from the right of operation for the sake of appeasing the spirit. What do I need to do? Place your hand inside the throat of the Cogitator Guardian, the cyber gargoyle which has been assigned to guard the forbidden data crypts. The dynastic blood extracted from your veins will serve as a key to the data core, where the machine spirit dwells. To it we will offer our prayers, so that we may bypass the protective protocol for defective connections and launch the warp sextant. The laws of the Omnissiah know no exceptions, and so in this ritual I will remain at your side to placate the wrathful machine spirit, in whose abode you will be intruding. Follow my liturgies, Lord Captain, and we may still receive his blessing. Alright. Stick my hand in and get fucking stabbed by some rotten old teeth. Brilliant. Connecting. 1. Connecting. 2. Connecting. 3. Success Reg 7890344. Access initiated. ID 8627. Nom OS. Operat.res. Operation? Operating system? Whatever. Act. Reach out, touch the keys? Or... by my authority, I revoke the inviolability. One of the Cogitator's viz screens turns red. Oh, it actually turned red. Pascal sees this and raises his hand, signaling to the rest of the tech priest, then withdraws a connector from his sleeve and connects it to the machine. Servants of the Omnissiah, make now the offering of Den's cleansed data crypts to the machine spirit, so that it may be filled with our true and calibrated data. May the Omnissiah have mercy on our souls. In meek solemnity, the Acolytes offer up the cleansed data crypts to the warp engine, one after another, repeating prayers of exaltation. After anointing the contacts with sacred unguents, Pascal inserts them into the Cogitator's slots. Your head begins to spin from the holy sensor's foul-smelling clouds of smoke, and from loss of blood that the cyber gargoyle continues to drink from you. And the world swims before your eyes. Let the mechanism awaken in renewed purity. Pascal enters the sequence of commands and raises his head, watching the viz screens. Suddenly, he stops dead. No. His fingers fly over the command runes, entering command after command, his mechadendrites clinking their pincers, pull at one lever after another. The viz screens fill with strange symbols, completely incomprehensible to you, but clearly conveying something to the Magos. It's actually a bunch of memes, and it just says shit's fucked here. Let's not interfere. After a few seconds, one of the data crypts mounted to the Cogitator begins to emit sparks. A moment later, another data crypt does the same. The next bursts into flames and gives off foul-smelling smoke. Around you, the Omnissiah servants break off from their prayers, and someone bursts into frantic pleading. Pascal mournfully grates out, "The mass of errors in the warp sextant calculations is destroying the metadata repositories. The offering did not appease the ship's spirit. The warp engine cannot be filled with the motive force. We are trapped." A moment later, the Magos continues uncertainly. "Perhaps an alternative Ryzen protocol, or an emergency launch of the auxiliary coils." The tech priest bends over the Cogitator, but something in his pose and movements reveals his desperation. While the other viz screens are filled with more and more strings of symbols, the monitor in front of you blinks and its static image changes. Pascal is too engrossed in his ritual to notice. Let's see what it is. Input pack.comp non-OS stab true, non-OS stab false. Stack check inish perturb.reg disturb.reg nom-os operate res query. Yeah, what's up, machine spirit? The cogitator's servant creaks quietly in its joints, a sound that is drowned out by the binaric hymns, and the tapping of command runes. Input prompt. Nom OS ping. Nom OS request response. Nom operate response injury. Nom OS operate response rescue. Nom operate response query. Yes, machine spirit, rescue us. Pascal turns to you. Lord Captain, the excess emotion in your command will render it unintelligible to... I doubt it! Pascal's next vocalization goes unsynthesized as he sees the VIN screens begin to stabilize one after another. The strings frenetically galloping across the green background are replaced with stable images or regularly updating status reports. Only one monitor remains inexplicably red. The tech priest's vox crackles in shock, but his report is as clipped and clinical as ever. Registering warp sextant activated. Registering data stream stabilizing. Registering 0 data errors found. Reporting. The warp engine is ready for translation. I am also reporting evidence indicating a Category 3 miracle fulfilling the criteria. Thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils in glorification of its function, and in defiance of deactivation. AKA, that shit shouldn't have worked. Lord Captain, Rava here. The crew are almost finished carrying out the orders given earlier, and I've just received confirmation from the engineering halls. I don't know what you did, but the warp engine's up and raring to go. We're ready to translate to the warp. Your lordship. Alright, let's get the fuck out of here. Information is for people who aren't in, dire straits. Get us out. Waiting for you to ascend to the captain's throne. Well, Captain, may the Emperor protect us. Do a sick doughy on the way out. Did I do that? Jokes aside, it is the only viable option. The planet has to burn. Either the planet burns or this whole sector burns. No looking out the windows when we're in the warp. The warp looks back.
Von Valancia's flagship made its way out of the doomed star system. As the void ships plunged deeper into the Coronis expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid a formal farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Theodora von Valancius.
We even covered up the hole in her head.
Having paid their last respects, the crew gathered their strength and braced themselves for whatever was to come next.
Next, we're gonna go looking for bitches and hoes. And drugs. Surely we can traffic drugs in this game. Lord Captain, allow me to report our journey. Allow me to report. Our journey through the warp is coming to an end. Lady Navigator Ocelio informs me that we have reached the point where we can translate to real space in the Furibunda system. The Lady Navigator and her pilots are awaiting your permission to begin the process. The Furibunda system is home to Footfall, the only Imperium outpost with a functional wharf in the Coronis expanse. The tech priests are begging you to have mercy on the machines worn down by the warp, and to allow the servants of the Omnissiah to inspect and heal the void ship's wounds in dock. The prayers and rituals will take some time, which our astropathic choir will use to establish connection with the prime worlds of your protectorate, Dargonus, Janus, and Kiava Gamma. Astropathic choir is a bunch of psychers, specially trained to be able to, send long-range messages. Get a group of people together, they all start thinking the same thoughts, and scream it into the void and hope the right people hear it. Also, this sometimes kills the astropaths, so we usually have a lot of them available. Master Zachary Wise has recovered an invitation previously adrift in the Immaterium. The Liege of Footfall has humbly requested an audience with the rogue trader of the Von Valencius dynasty. According to Master Zachary, the message was tinted with shades of pleading. I quote, "Apparently the Liege is anxious to meet as soon as possible." I'm gonna guess Master Zachary Wise is our head of astropaths, of the astropathic choir. Footfall. The place where filth and sanctity go hand in hand. Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso will likely expect a visit from me. I imagine he'll be interested in talking to you as well. Detective Mulligan! I'll be leaving your void ship when we arrive on Footfall. Detective Mulligan! Once that is done, I can consider the Lord Inquisitor's task complete. Your Lordship, young Yvain Winterscale has asked me to convey his gratitude for your hospitality, and for saving him from certain death. Not wishing to outstay his welcome, he plans to disembark at Footfall. Lord Yvain swears he will not forget his debt to you. He better not. I was going to kill him. I hereby inform the rogue trader that during the comprehensive system inspection right, this unit discovered data clusters within the captain's cogitator that are concealed from prying eyes by means of a personal cipher, a sacrament of algorithmic authorization. Unit Detective Mulligan! Von Valencius has been added to the access list with and assigned the identifier Keeper 2. The unit can access the data from the captain's cogitator provided that he possesses the decryption key. Keeper 2. Oh, is this did I get something from the station? From Eurocos 5? Because Keeper 2 was Feckle, or whatever his name was, the trader. That was his title, his role. Alright, Argenta, who wants to talk to me? He is the head of the Drusian mission on Footfall, and one of the most prominent clergymen in the sector. Paying him a visit is good for any loyal servant of the Emperor to do. I assisted his mission before I joined Lady Theodora on her voyage. I need his blessing to accompany the new rogue trader of the Von Valencius dynasty. If you wish to have me aboard your void ship, I request we meet with Reverend Hieronymus. Hieronymus? Hieronymus. Yeah, we know Heinrichs is leaving us. The arrangement between the Lord Inquisitor and your predecessor was that I be transported to Footfall and no further. I dare not take advantage of your generosity and patience any more than I already have. Can I get his power sword off him first? I'd like to take his sword. Actually, it's a force sword, isn't it? Yeah. One's psychic powered, one's battery powered. Can't remember the difference. Power is probably the battery powered one. I hope we meet again. My benevolence and patience are both about to run out. So be it. So be it. I don't really want anything to do with the Inquisition if I can avoid it. Vigdus, update me. Ferabundus is valuable due to its close proximity to the Maw, the gateway to the Imperium. The system is mostly known for Footfall, the main base for merchants, privateers, and rogue traders traversing the Cronus Expanse. Additionally, the star itself is ordered by an Adeptus Mechanicus station, which is off-limit to outsiders. Alta Temple, Calixus Ext 17. I had the honor of tending to this shrine for a few thousand cycles. I suggest you abstain from visiting it, as most tech comrades on the station are engaged in meditative calculations that should not be interrupted. Right, so order an orbital bombardment of it. What do you know about the boss? Vladium Tokora is a very peculiar young man. Consider your upcoming conversation a baptism of fire in Footfall's political arena. Such things are not spoken aloud, but Liege Tokora is the appointee of the Caspasilica mission, the largest robber baron crime syndicate in the Calixus sector. They're specialized in coal trade, the buying and selling of all kinds of Xenos rubbish. Yes! Give me a Tau Pulse rifle, and an exosuit, and a tank, and a squadron of Tau Fire Warriors. What else would I want? Yeah, no, honestly, that's it. just give me a full Tau battle detachment. Be helpful in this game. Footfall was previously run by a liege who did business with several criminal factions at once, but he suffered an accident. The reins of power were picked up by Vladim Takora, whose appointment benefits not only the Caspacilla, but also their most powerful ally in the Cronus Expanse, rogue trader Kilogos Winterscale. Vladim is a slippery, yet very cautious fellow. He does not usually beat around the bush and does not play mind games. I think, fuck. Perhaps more importantly, he is no fool. Fools do not rise this high in the Caspacillan hierarchy. Keep all this in mind. You are a rogue trader, you stand above him in status, and wield considerable power. Having said that, history has seen cases where the Caspacillan barons crossed swords with rogue traders and emerged victorious. Do not forget that, and remain vigilant. The Caspacilla. Vile tech thieves. Oh, alright. I mean, they have no extra information. What else do I need to know? It's the largest port and trading capital of the Cronus Expanse. It has a dockyard that will allow us to inspect repair. Yep. And it has its own naturopathic choir. Not to mention pirate hideouts, smuggler caches, and forts belonging to a dozen gangs, groups, and factions in the Cronus Expanse. The Imperium relies on this as its outpost. The fringes of humanity's domain rarely resemble its central worlds, but so long as Footfall says God Emperor, insofar as it can, it will be considered a citadel of the Imperium, although I have heard that the ties it sends are underwhelming, to say the least. Due to Footfall's remoteness, it has developed its own rules and customs. Many of the goods that can be procured there would be considered heresy in the heart of the Imperium, enough to warrant summary execution. Moreover, Footfall is the domain of the rogue traders, who transcend certain Imperial laws by virtue of the warrant they bear. Basically, we can have Xeno shit because the Emperor said we can, kind of? We can do what we want. Fuck you. Alright, what else? Not you personally, he wishes to meet with the rogue trader of the Von Valensis dynasty. Takora does not know about Lady Theodora's death. And simply, gut feeling, something must be very wrong, no shit. We have no information. Yep, Footfall. After that, as soon as we solve the issues plaguing the ship and establish contact with the key worlds of your protectorate, the time will come for your Magnae Accessio, the official ceremony of donning the mantle of rogue trader. It is mostly a formality at this point. You already possess all the privileges granted by the warrant, and yet it is a major milestone in your personal history. The moment your name graces the list of heads of the Von Valensis dynasty, the moment when, yeah. We're all looking forward to that day. Alright. Tell Cassia, we can go. Let the freaky fish lady out of the fish tank. Victus begins issuing instructions. The massive ship appears to change with her every word. The bridge is set in motion as hundreds of people start to prepare for the shift to real space, and measured chanting fills the corridors to safeguard the vessel and its crew. Demons be gone, demons be gone, demons be gone. Mama said don't touch me there. That's my no-go square. Sorry. That should definitely be modded into the game. Just quietly in the background at all times while you're in the warp. One more thing, Lord Captain. No one at the station knows about Lady Theodora's demise and you inheriting the title. Liege Takora will be informed. It is required so we can use the dock, and besides, he's expecting a personal audience. He will not meet with an unknown person of unclear standing. However, there is still the matter of announcing your arrival. You can either arrive in the station with pomp and ceremony, or choose to visit incognito. Alright, how will it benefit me? According to Footfall's unwritten rules, rogue traders enjoy special privileges that exceed even the power of the liege. However, they may choose not to exercise those privileges in certain situations. Arriving incognito will give you more room for maneuver, while an official visit allows you to directly intervene in local affairs. I shall explain if you don't mind. As per this unwritten rule, every rogue trader arriving at the station has the right to veto any of the Legion's decision. But there's a catch. The Coronis Expanse is home to several influential rogue trader dynasties, and Footfall is where their interests intersect. Of course, that does not prevent certain persons, namely Caligos Winterscale, from subtly pulling the strings on Footfall. If you, as a new rogue trader, start your career with an official landing and a parade in your honour, the other dynasties may see this gesture as the newcomer challenging their spheres of influence. I do not see that as a bad thing necessarily. Old Man Winterscale may take slight offence, Corda will be put on her guard, but you have just risen to prominence, and most people in the Cronus Expanse will have not even heard about Lady Theodora's departure yet. Must we make clear that the banner of von Valentius soars as high as ever? Oh, of course the Inquisitor wants us to go incognito. If I may, I would recommend arriving incognito. You'll have plenty of opportunities to savour the sweetness and burdens of power, but right now is the last time you can take refuge in obscurity. This way, your arrival will not draw much attention, and the people will treat you as a person and not the almighty sovereign anointed by the Emperor. It could turn some situations to your advantage. I mean, yeah, I want to sneak in first because I don't know what I'm going into. It will be done, Lord Captain. With your gracious permission, I will return to my duties. Not much of a choice, really. Alright. Yeah,
Captain. Lord Captain.
Talk to you another time. When I can, when my throat is rested. No, don't want to modify the room. Position. What's this? No, I wanna hear the rumors. Oh, lame. Hey Pascal. Oh, Abel's here too. Didn't know we actually brought him back with us. The person you saved from the Electro Priest Monastery, the servant of the Omnissiah, who calls himself Abel Hon-Newman, stares intently at a cogitator's vid screens. Wires connects the sacred computing machine to augmentics inside the prayerful bowed heads of murmuring servitors. Let's presume those are the servitors. Why do they keep the arms? Probably lop those off. I suppose I can use the fingers for interface. Abel looks up at you after a lengthy silence. He looks away and says stiffly, "The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all." How you feeling, Abel? The tech priest stares intently at his feet for a while and then says in a halting voice, "The running of binary protocols was bogged down and dissolved in false commands. The filter has separated the correct signals from the incorrect. The running has been restored to its swiftness." Doesn't seem very swift. Pascal speaks softly as though trying to match the inflections of Abel's voice. Tech Brother Abel has passed the diagnostics. The pernicious influence of the sacrilegious procedures has been completely eliminated. Statistically, most survivors of schismatical infestation are left with severe cognitive impairments. However, Tech Brother Abel's mind, being of a less typical nature, has not been damaged to so great a degree. I mean, sure. Abel's voice quivers and his eyes dart around, desperately avoiding eye contact. So he's just autistic. Alright, whatever. What was flawed has since been purged, but the shadow of the hunt linger. The cog is dismounted, and no judgment has been made. In the absence of judgment, threat remains. Who will make the judgment? I will. I will make the judgment that will avert the threat. There is no need to frighten him. Alright, what troubles him? I assumed at first that this was caused by the shock inflicted upon his system by the schismatical attack, but my tech brother's words are a sign of deeper reason for his unease. He foresees something that threatens both him and all those around him, and thus I stand ready to face this threat. I mean, sure, you related? Tech Brother Abel is harmonious, and harmony is beauty. Is it so strange to see an urge to protect beauty from the horrors of the grotesque? Nope. You're all good. What are you working on? We catch the soul of the light in the solar wind. We look for the footsteps of the Omnissiah left when he walked the desert. This is the Romantic computation procedure. The depersonalized minds of these machine servants are in a data dream, processing enormous arrays of assorted data and aggregating them. Virtually all results of such synthesis are scrap data, but occasionally we have noted coincidences whose exactness defy logic. Right, so these are the monkeys on the typewriter. It is an extremely rare and venerated form of statistical augury, but Tech Brother Abel is adept at this form of appealing to Deus Mechanus. Alright. You notice certain repeating patterns in the scrolling columns of runes. You may not know what they mean, but you can clearly see, or rather sense, their similarities. You point these out to Abel, making his face light up with joy. A crystal is exquisite in clear water. Deviation from the cycle's trajectory has been increased, as was Amaranth's wish. Abel lowers his head and his vox synthesizer broadcasts a binary hymn. You do not recall having heard this before. Its sound is full of vibrant energy, and its precise rhythm is nothing short of pleasing to the ear. A rare thing for the language of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Pascal explains with an inexplicable air of pride. Tech Brother Abel has dedicated a lesser aria to you. The piece is distinguished by a high degree of acoustic harmony, and is fit for use as motto, auxiliary identifier, or epitaph. Why, thank you. With a life as eventful as mine, I'm certainly going to need one. Thank you for the generous gift. The gift is disproportionate, but it does signify a personal affinity. Specs. The hair has been removed from the servitors' heads. Their bulky cerebral augmentics cover their skulls like helmets. The faces of the cogitator servants are blank. Their eyes are closed, and their lips incessantly whispering what sounds like gibberish. Hundreds of lines of symbols containing information scroll down the cogitator's vid screen. Abel von Neumann peers at it with voracious interest, in sharp contrast to his usual placidity. So what, are we just like pumping raw data into them and hoping the human brain spots patterns? I mean, fuck, it'll work. Why do you do it? It is how we execute the quest for knowledge, in the hope that the machine god grants us an epiphany, that we may discern a logical connection in a mass of absurd data, which will propel our comprehension forward. Alright, what does that mean? A low guttural sound rises from the depths of Pascal's vox synth, as though the planet's tectonic plates are shifting and crushing with each other. The mighty rumble brings forth words imbued with power. We follow a path charted by a great mind, but that path leads to dark places. The cycle has the advantage of predictability. Abandoning it will plunge the collective into a perilous space of uncertainty, which will inevitably lead to disasters and the risk of universal annihilation. The doctrine of discontinuing the cycle may herald good things to come, or it may be a death sentence. Only the Omnissiah knows all and comprehends all. Others are mere prophets who interpret his wisdom as far as their own comprehension permits. Is that not the promise of every heresy? Let's renounce our path, distort our doctrine. Just a word. I mean, is it better to meet the challenge of change? I'm no prophet. No one knows the future. Every analysis has its margin of error, and horrors lurk in these margins. Alright, why do you have the same name? The naming of names is not an index to the text. The naming of the names is the text. Abel's answers can be enigmatic. His mind works differently from ours. He thinks in harmonic imagery and notices the symmetries and proportional relationships in the world around him. Poetry would be the closest analogy to how he perceives and interacts with reality. Alright, what do you mean? Oh, no answer. Cool. Doesn't matter why they're the same? At this point in time, the cycle has been broken and reshaped into a rising spiral, as Amanat envisioned. They are connected. My hypothesis regarding Abel's connection to the blessed Amarat has been confirmed. Alrighty. I am glad to see you. Yeah, so that's an autistic tech priest. Good to see a representation. I mean, you know, I'd probably end up a tech priest too. Like, sounds like a pretty great job. I mean, aside from the body horror of it, but that's 40k for you. Aww. I was kind of hoping we could just, like, kick this guy into that hole. It seems like a Detective Mulligan thing to do. Oh, hey, Idra. Do you have anything to say? I sort of, like, haven't spoken for you in a while. You seem to have a very strong reaction to what you said by the broken lens.
My nerves playing up. Something about our little saint doesn't sit right with me, and I trust my gut. Oh sure, she seems straight as an arrow and as predictable as a hangover after drinking. But when I look at her, something about her makes my brain itch.
Oh, yeah?
After that conversation, I tried to listen to what was being said about her. Beyond the door, what I heard was strange. Blood in her past, twilight in her present, and something like a star leading her. But where is it leading her? I saw several roads, and all of them frightened me.
Think I should keep an eye on her?
It certainly wouldn't hurt. I'll keep a watch on her too. If only I knew what it meant. Maybe it means danger for her.
I can tell her
Or
to
maybe
fuck off
danger
the ship.
coming from her.
I'm good, thanks.
Of course.
Why would I kick anyone off the ship? Actually, depending on who we get, I guess I might want to kick someone off the ship. Apparently our shuttle pilots aren't gentle with their craft. Well, let's have a look at the map. Lord Captain, Raver's voice over the box sounds weary rather than annoyed. That's surprising. We're getting reports of several ships moving towards us. Judging by the fact they're not responding to our hails and telemetry, and the telemetry shows a trail of macro batteries, they're not here for a chinwag. Ready to issue orders to prepare for battle for your command. Why didn't we notice them? The rubbish of Furibundus, and I'm not talking about all these wrecks that are about to open fire. I mean the remains of meteorites, gas clouds, refuse from the shipyards. It all bunches together, and the small ships hide behind it to harass ships as they emerge from the warp. Could it be the trader? It's possible. He could have hired some scum, or maybe it's just a pirate who saw the state of the ship and decided to push his luck. Alright, let's do this. Let's see what void combat is. I saw the page about upgrading the ship. I assume we can fight. Alrighty. Bowser's face. 3 zone. Brightness. Ships travel at high speeds even during combat. Both your ships must move a certain distance each round. Not allowed to stop moving. Got it. Ship, click LMB, then fly. Right, so they just... It's very close to real time. I don't know why they didn't just commit to it. I propose we immediately ram them. Has to reach the end. Okay, well, no, I wanna ram him. Let's fucking take it to the face. Fine. Yep. I'm not gonna read all that. I'm just gonna assume I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Two shield arrays carry the ship's sides, one protects its bow, one its stern. Facing an enemy ship, equip shields. Choose your angle of attack wisely. Cover every turn. And we're protected by shields. Flagships' damaged shields do not recover at the start of the next turn, instead they can be restored using the restart shields action on the control panel. Restarting shields reduces combat efficiency, and next turn it will have reduced speed and firing range. Alright. Alright, so that's just leaving some toys. Torpedoes. Next to the power order, once the turn begins, you'll be able to direct them. Ow. Fucking rude. I'd like to rotate the ship fully. I don't really have the range for this. Oh, I can ram. What's the point of having a big armored prow on a ship if you're not going to ram people, right? And fire the main gun at them. Ow. Ow. Excuse you, sir. I'd politely like you to fuck off. Okay. There. Oops, did not mean to restart shields. I thought that was rotate ship for some reason. Whatever. Oh. Okay, move there and then blast it. I forgot I named the ship Litany of Litanies. Alright, just need to repair. Use scrap to repair it. And honestly, it seems like a more interesting combat system than the ground combat. Alright. It's just this blessing. But you have to go to work, so we'll do this later.